Hey everyone, and welcome back to Newegg TV. My name is Paul. Today I'm going to be doing an unboxing and overview of this new monitor from NEC. It is a 21:9 aspect ratio monitor, which means it is very widescreen. It's 29 inches and the model number is EA294WMi. So here in the box you can see a 29-inch 21:9 monitor gives you a total aspect ratio of 2560 by 1080. So 1080, which is the same width, or the same height that you would expect from a 1920 by 1080 monitor, just much wider. And of course 29 inches is the measurement from one corner to the other corner. Down here at the bottom we have some other logos and whatnot. So first off, energy compliance. This is Energy Star 6.0 compliant, TCO 5.0 compliant, EPEAT Gold rated, and ROHS compliant as well. Compatible with Windows 8 and Windows 7. You can see all the FCC logos and notifications and all that good stuff right there. And then over on the right side we can see that it is HDMI, so you get an HDMI input at least. I'll show you all those once I get out of the box. Then finally over on the far right, MHL, or Mobile High Definition Link. If your phone happens to be MHL compatible, it gives you a really easy single plug that you can connect to the monitor to basically use the monitor as a monitor for your phone and send audio and video through that way, and it will also charge your phone at the same time, which is kind of nice. Here's a look at the included accessories apart from the stand and monitor, which are back here still in their packaging. Starting off over here, you have an AC adapter cable, pretty standard one like you would use with the typical PC. No power brick for this monitor. The power componentry is in the housing of the monitor itself, which I find to be nice. I'm not a huge fan of power bricks. You get a couple display adapter cables right here. So this is a simple 15-pin D-sub. If you're going with an analog connection, it's just a D-sub on both sides. Also a dual-link DVI connector right here. You do need the dual-link for this resolution, so bear that in mind. You will want to make sure you have dual-link DVI out from whatever your source is. And again, dual-link DVI on both ends of that one. This does have an integrated USB hub, so it's got one up, four down. Basically you got a USB A to B cable right there, so this is kind of like one you'd find with a printer cable, but that will allow you to connect that up to your computer to get those USB ports functioning. Simple 8-inch standard analog audio connector right there for running audio to the monitor. And then this right here, which is a control sync cable. This is important if you're going to be using multiple of these monitors or multiple NEC monitors with control sync enabled. Basically this is going to sync up the monitors so you can do things like press power on one monitor to turn all the monitors on, or adjust settings such as brightness or contrast ratio or that sort of thing across all the monitors in the bank without having to do that all individually. So this is a godsend to anybody who's using this for a multiple monitor configuration. And then of course you also get your multi-sync user's manual and documentation. It's in multiple languages and they have nice pictures to tell you what's what, for instance all the input connections and output connections on the back. There's a quick stand installation demo. This is going to be very easy because there's just one screw to pop in. Just make sure that the swivel function at the bottom is around so you can actually see that. You can pop this out to get a grip on it, or you can use a flathead screwdriver to install that. You simply line it up with the base contact point on the monitor and screw it in. And make sure it's nice and secure because this is a nice stand and it gives you quite a few adjustment options. Alright guys, now for a stand demonstration. I was reading the specs of this monitor and I was very surprised to see that the stand does height, tilt, swivel, and pivot. Everything that you could ask for a stand monitor or monitor stands to do. I was surprised too, being that this is a 21:9 monitor. As you can see in vertical mode here using the pivot function, it is quite tall. However, I guarantee that there's some implementations of this that will work out for folks, particularly I guess if you want to see a whole web page, maybe top to bottom, you could look at it that way. You might also consider this for digital signage or something like that. I could see a menu being displayed here, something like that. So lots of options, but nice to be able to just pivot it to that direction if you want to. But let's go with the angle that most people are probably going to be using, which is horizontal. So there we can see the height functions, and I really love NEC stands. They just make them very easy to adjust. They're very sturdy. As you can see, you got a pretty decent height range there. You can also do the tilt function right there, so you can do a little bit of negative tilt going down that way, or you can do positive tilt all the way up to about there. And then of course the height, as you can see once again. And then of course you have the swivel functionality, so the stand swivels on the base and you can spin it all the way around one way or the other. Very nice. Continuing here on the back of the monitor, you can see there's a couple handles built in right there, so you can use that to grip from the front, especially if you're just doing some positioning of the monitor, which is nice to have. There's ventilation gaps all around the sides, so that's going to provide some area for the heat that's generated by the monitor's backlight to escape, although this is an LED backlit monitor, so it's not going to get as hot as your typical CCFL backlit monitors. There's a look at the width of the monitor itself. It's an IPS panel on the front, LED backlighting in the back, and then down here at the bottom you also have an integrated USB 2.0 hub. So there's a couple USB 2.0 connection points right there if you wire up that cable from the I/O, which is down at the bottom, which we're going to move to in just a second. You can get a couple there, and then you also get a built-in headphone jack. And then also can't forget, since this is a monitor and it is somewhat portable, you got a built-in Kensington lock right there. If you're in an environment where you feel safety is an issue, you can use that to lock this down. And while we're here at the back, I should also point out you got a standard vase mount on here. As you can see that the stand is already connected to. That's a 100mm mounting point. It looks like you also have an upper mounting point that's available as well. And here's a look at the underside of the monitor on the far left side, at least from the direction we're looking at. You've got your AC input. And then over here on the right, you've got a full-size DisplayPort connection point, which is an excellent connector. You should use that if you have the availability. You've also got an HDMI input right here. You've got a dual link DVI right here, another dual link DVI right here, and you've also got dual VGA inputs as well, so tons and tons of input connectivity here on the back. Over here you can see this gray and the black little connection point. That is for your control sync. So you've got an in and an out. That is for daisy chaining, so whatever your master monitor is, that one you'd start and just go do the out with, and then anything else you're going to daisy chain in from the master monitor, you go from here into that and then connect up your next one using the out link, and any of these that you purchase should come with that cable to allow you to connect them all up together. Also, you got your audio input right there, so that will enable the speakers on here as well as the headphone jack. There is your USB uplink, so that is where you would connect that included cable to your computer, and then there are your other two USB 2.0 ports. And now here's a look at the monitor panel itself, and I know you guys are watching this on whatever monitor you have, so picture quality is a little bit difficult to bring across, but this is an IPS panel, which means it's going to have better color reproduction. Overall, you get a total of 16, actually more than 16.7 million colors available for this. Response time on the panel is 6 milliseconds. It has a 1,000 to 1 actual contrast ratio, not a made-up contrast ratio like 20 billion to 1 or something like that. Brightness on the panel is 300 candelas per meter square, and again, LED backlit. 0.26 millimeter pixel pitch, and total resolution of 2560 by 1080. Again, 29 inches measured from corner to corner. Now what you're looking at here on the screen is a 1080 image, the Newegg TV logo you can see on the right, plus the additional screen real estate that you can see over on the left side, which is pretty much the rest of our NEC background, because we're currently plugging this into our background computer. But you'll notice you'll have a couple little sensors right here. Well, I don't know if you guys noticed, but they're very small. That's going to be measuring the ambient light as well as the lights on the actual viewer itself. That is goes hand in hand with the eco mode features of this, so it's going to be adjusting the brightness based on the light that you're using. So if you're in a very dark environment, it's going to tone down the brightness a bit so it's not blasted out. If you're in a lighter environment, it's going to increase it so you can see the image a bit better, even though you might be distracted by other lights in the area. So that's pretty cool. Another thing that I wanted to show you was the on-screen displays. So that's located down here in the lower right, and there's a few functions that are integrated with this particular monitor that are pretty cool. These are all touch buttons. They're all labeled right up here on the front. So first off, you have power button. Obviously it's already on, so I'm not going to turn it off. Next up you have input, which is pretty simple. This is going to do input select, and when you hit it, it gives you an actual listing right here, so you can just tap which one you want to connect to instead of cycling through them. So that's kind of nice. Right now we're connected via HDMI. Let me go ahead and turn that off to exit the input function. Before I go into the menu, I wanted to show you picture by picture, and we'll see how well this works because I only have one item connected. But basically, this will allow you to treat this monitor as if it were two separate monitors side by side, which it is currently doing. Now, the resolution that my single HDMI cable is putting into this is the 21:9 resolution, which is why these are wider, but depending on the different types of inputs you have going, if you're going to be using those D-subs, for example, you could have two pictures here side by side using two of those discrete inputs, so that's a pretty nice function to have available. Let me go ahead and turn that off for the time being so I can continue with our demo. Moving back down here, we will next up switch over to menu. As you can see, we're in HDMI. It ships in eco mode by default. When I click the menu button, we can see our little menu pop up right there. It's nice on screen. And then if we can zoom out a little bit, we can see that on the lower right, you can see the little visual indicators that pop up next to the lights to kind of tell you what you're doing there. So left and right, of course, to navigate through the menu. So here you can control brightness, contrast, eco mode, and that sort of thing. Also the human sensing for sensor setting and start time for the eco mode functions available through those sensors. Also off mode settings, which are also available. So for instance, you can tell it to turn off more quickly if you want to save more power. Next up, we have left, right, up, down, video level, overscan, expansion, horizontal and vertical resolution, so that's kind of the picture adjustments that you might be familiar with. Next up, we have some picture modes that are available. So this actually has some more information in the user's manual if you guys want to check it out, but right now we're in native, for example. These are just some default picture modes that we can jump in between. There's a programmable function. There's also an sRGB function that's available over there. We have 5000K. And then we have 1, 2, 3 here, which are some presets that you can configure yourself, which are currently set up for 9300K, 8200K, and 7500K. So some more advanced picture options there with presets that you can build in. Here we have volume and sound input, as well as some of the other different modes that the monitor is capable of. Power saving timer, LED brightness, as well as USB power and factory reset options. Here you can change the language, as well as the on-screen display, as well as the hotkey functionality. Signal and sensor information for your inputs, as well as a key guide, data copy, and customization of settings. Here are some eco mode functions, so this is going to give you some actual hard data on how much carbon savings that you have accumulated over time by using the eco mode functions of this monitor, which is pretty nice. And finally, just an info panel, which will tell you your current resolution, as well as your refresh rate, as well as the model number, your serial number, and the NECDisplaySolutions.com website. And that is going to wrap it up for this video, guys. Once again, we've been taking a closer look at the NEC EA294WMi 29-inch 21:9 2560x1080 aspect ratio monitor. I'm Paul with Newegg TV. If you enjoyed today's video, you can find more just like it on our Newegg TV YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the video. Leave us some feedback if you thought this was interesting or you want to just let us know how you felt about it. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.